And a good Monday afternoon to you. Welcome on into the Ameren, Illinois Lunch Show here on claibsonline.com. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Mike Claiborne, who is out in Phoenix, Arizona for the Cardinals and D-backs series this week. Claibs, what's the temperature? What's the current temperature out there right now?
You know what, man? I got to tell you, we got in last night and we landed, it was 99 degrees. Okay? And so here's the thing. When you walk through the halls, you feel the heat. The floor is warm. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, there's no movement outside. There's no wind. There's no nothing. I mean, it's stagnant heat. And this is not good. Again, the floors are warm. The windows are warm. You know, the air conditioners are sweating. I mean, they're pumping out as much air as they can. So I'm anxious to see what the ballpark's going to be like. I mean, they have a roof, but I don't know if they have enough. I don't know what that situation, because they've kind of run that thing into the ground. They don't want to be there, so there's no telling what provisions they've made to accommodate what the weather's like outside. So it's different, man. It is truly different than any heat I've experienced in my life.
I was going to say, the second you walk outside, that's just going to slap you right in the face.
It's like, I'm serious, man. We got off that plane last night, and there was a wind last night. It was windy. So now it's like heat being thrown at you. I haven't been out today. I you know what? This is as close as I've been to a window.
It's crazy because when I was out there, that's where the Super Bowl was. So I was out there in February, and I was expecting it to be warm there the whole time, even though it was, still February. You're in Phoenix, you're expected it to be warm. And the night of the media party, it dropped like it was in the 50s down there.
I mean, normally you have to put a sweater on.
The media party to where they had to bring out space heaters. They had to bring out space because it was an outdoor. It was like at an outdoor farm, and nobody there had brought any clothes, expecting to have to dress for that kind of weather out there.
Hold on. Yeah. You always, if you've never been here, you should always dress for cool nights. That's why I won't live here, because here you literally have to bring your whole wardrobe, shorts in the daytime, sweater at night. So
I don't think you're gonna need a sweater this week.
I didn't even pack one.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna need one.
I think I have 2 long sleeve shirts, and that's it.
We have so much to get to on the show today. We have to recap from last week, how that show ended when we were out at Munganess, and some of the things that were brought up on the show there. We will dive into to old classic TV talk later on in the program. We have a Hall of Famer now with the Cardinals after yesterday in Cooperstown. But let's start with the Cardinals, because all eyes are going to be on them for this next week. The trade deadline less than 10 days away, and the Cardinals go out to Chicago this past weekend and lose 3 out of 4 after being on a 6-game win streak and looking like they were turning things around. And then the opposite happened, and I think we could all stop wondering if the Cardinals are going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline. There will be moves made this week. Just a matter of when. We've already seen Genesis Cabrera traded up to Toronto for a catching prospect.
Yeah, but that's different. Cabrera, he kind of tore his drawers with the organization. That was something that they just wanted. He needed a new place. He has nothing to do with what's going to happen this week. So I wouldn't put that in the same category. The question, I think, and I ask everyone this question, when people say we got to move some people. All right, what do you want in return? What are you looking for? Are you looking for prospects? Or are you looking for suspects? So if you're looking for prospects that are close to being big league ready, so who you acquire is a person that you want to be able to come into spring training next year and compete for a job on the big league roster. Okay, that's what you're looking for. So the next question is, what organization develops players commensurate to what you like to have in your organization? Thirdly, do you have to go back and reevaluate how you assess talent? I think they missed on some players that they thought were better, and now they realize these people can't contribute. So you have a lot of things you have to get into before you even make a deal. And I think we have to be in tune with that. Everyone you talk to, we got to make a trade. We got to get rid. Well, okay, so let's walk the process. Are you looking for guys, again, who are contract controllable? You're looking for prospects? There's just a lot of things that go into it. So before we start talking about getting rid of somebody, let's think about what we want in return.
Does any of that, yeah. And
I don't think people think like that.
When you do look at that too, I think another thing that comes into play with that is when you do move some of these big league ready guys, who's going to come in and take their place on the roster
Absolutely.
this year? So if you are looking at making a move for somebody like a Paul DeJong right now, if you are looking to trade Paul DeJong, you're starting shortstop now, especially with Tommy Edman and on the IL and Brendan Donovan unable to throw right now, then you're looking, okay, who's my shortstop going to be?
He's Mason Wynn.
Okay, so is Mason Wynn 2023 ready to be on a big league roster?
Well, but here's the deal. If you're going to raise a white flag and surrender, why not bring him up and let him get some playing time now compared to starting next year and say he's never been to big leagues before? Yeah. And I use the Volpe situation with the Yankees. The Yankees opened the season with a guy who'd never been in the big leagues before. All right. And he got out to a really good start, and then he hit the wall. And then he was lost. And then they were like, what are we going to do with this guy? So why not take advantage of the next 8 weeks and let this kid play, let him have fun, let him succeed, let him fail. So now he has a better idea on what's going to be required of him when he comes into spring training next year.
Yesterday, Bob Nightingale, who does a weekly podcast here on claibsonline.com, kind of shocked a lot of people with a report about the Cardinals, talking about them being sellers and throwing a list of names out there that they would be willing to part ways with. One of those being recently acquired free agent Wilson Contreras with the Cardinals. We know that it's been a bit of an up and down first year for Wilson Contreras with the relationship with the Cardinals. We saw him lose that catching position and just DH for a few weeks, and now he's back, and now it's kind of a rotation between three catchers. Cardinals signed him to a 5-year deal. How would it look, or how does it look if the reports are true that he's on the trade block?
I respect Bob's information. I think it's got to be talked about because it's not working. Okay, it's disappointing for a lot of different reasons, and now that you see that Herrera has shown significant improvement from last year. You have Kisner. You may lose him this offseason for one reason or another, but you can go out and get a veteran backup catcher. And there's a couple of guys that are going to be available that can help this young man, along with the fact that you probably ought to hire a catching coordinator for your organization. But with all that said, that means you're going to probably have to eat a big chunk of that contract if you can get somebody to take him. I'm not saying the Cardinals have given up on him, but it's not working to anyone's expectations.
How does that look for the future for free agents if you trade a guy 6 months into a 5-year deal?
I think you have to explain why it didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't think, the thing is, if you have to give a no trade to a free agent, that's fine, or an opt-out to a free agent. Now that might come into play where, maybe you have an opt-out after 2 years or 3 years, if you sign a guy to a 5-year deal.
Right.
But the chemistry here just isn't working to the expectations of the organization.
As a broadcaster, as somebody with the team every day, Claibs, this is a situation this week that you are really unfamiliar with from this side of things, and a lot of people on the team are kind of unfamiliar with. So from your perspective of it as an employee, as all of that, how are you approaching the way you're going to cover it and how you guys are talking about it on the air? Kind of give us a little inside baseball with that.
It really doesn't change. We talk about the game, okay? We leave the speculation to others. Obviously we have opinions, but we're here to do the games. And that's the most important thing. We're going to do the games no matter who's in the lineup, all right? And that's how you have to approach it. For me to sit here and speculate on what they should do and what they shouldn't do, I have opinions. I've said this before. I thought Sean Murphy would have been a better addition, but ball club felt like they would have had to give up too much, and hence the reason why they didn't make the deal. But we all have opinions. But my job, and I can speak for Ricky and John and Chip and Brad, Jim Edmonds, everybody else who's involved with the Brock. We're here to do the games. We're not. We leave the other stuff to people who want to speculate, and which I think is amusing to me. If you go online, there's so many people who are writing trade stories, and 98.9% of them wouldn't even know what a Cardinals clubhouse is. Okay, that's what kind of rubs me, because it's all speculation. They have no clue on what they're talking about. All right, and I've talked to multiple general managers that will tell you that 90% of the things you read are untrue. There's only like 10%. And I can give you the list of guys and women who are credible when it comes to this. The rest of them are full of it. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. People on radio talk shows have no clue. All right. But they have a voice, they have an opinion. It's their right to say what they want to say, but they're doing everybody a disservice.
The trade deadline, August 1st, 5 p.m. on August 1st. Keep it here on Claibs Online, because we will have Daily Cards live each and every day, and any other news that pops up, we will let you know all about it as soon as we hear about it here on Claibs Online. And then you and Bob Nightingale get together later this week too, and talk things over.
Hopefully, I'll see Bob at the ballpark.
I was going to say, yeah.
But I know he's at the Hall of Fame yesterday. So hopefully I'll see him, and maybe we can do something on Wednesday.
We will talk about that Hall of Fame induction in just a bit. Last week we did the show. We were out at Mungenast, Alton, Toyota, and Claibs. You and I saw firsthand all of the cars that they have available out there at Mungenast, Alton, Toyota. New cars, used cars, even non-Toyotas out there on the lot. Plenty to choose from if you're looking for that brand new car, or looking for a car for your recent grad as they head up to college, or you're somebody that just turned 16. They have everything that you could possibly need out there at Mungenast, Alton, Toyota.
Oh, they sure do. Their selection is incredible. We've heard so much about the shortage of this, and the delays in getting cars. But Mungenast, I think, because of their long time experience in the business, has been able to acquire cars that a lot of dealerships don't have. They have a better selection. They have an incredible staff that knows how to fit something in your swim lane. But you mentioned the used cars, which they like to call them pre-owned. They don't take just any pre-owned car. These cars have to meet a certain standard that they want to make sure the next person that has it will have as much enjoyment with it as the person who had it before them. So if you're thinking, this is a time to check it out right before school starts. There's going to be a ton of cars on the lot. Go by and check them out. I think once you see firsthand, you'll understand why so many people have found Mungenast, Burkhardt, Toyota to be their go-to, whether in Alton, or you can go across the river and go over on Manchester and check out an even bigger variety of Lexuses, everything else that they have on that lot. But between the two, there's going to be a car that has your name on it.
We will take a 1-minute break with this Ameren Minute. It is the Ameren, Illinois Lunch Show, presented by Gray Bar and Mungenast St. Louis Acura. Talk about what happened in Cooperstown yesterday. 2 new inductees into baseball's Hall of Fame. Lots to get to here on the Lunch Show. Claibs and Joe.
When there's a big storm with lots of outages and lots of damage, does Ameren, Illinois, do they reach out to other companies?
We do. We're part of what we call the Mutual Assistance Network, and that's other companies here in the Midwest that if we need assistance, we can call in resources from the generally contiguous states to Illinois. In a very big storm, there are different mutual assistance organizations across the country. We've called in folks from as far away as Texas and Florida, Colorado to come help out in a storm. And we do the same when hurricanes hit Florida and the Gulf Coast. So we do help each other out. We have a resource in linemen that are in limited supply, so there's only so many linemen in the U.S., and we know that we have to support each other.
Back here on the lunch show with Claibs and Joe, Ameren, Illinois lunch show with Claibs and Joe, driven by Munganast St. Louis Acura, powered by Gray Bar and Claibs. This past weekend, we saw the Open Championship, an American winning that, and we are, less than 2 months away from professional golfers here in St. Louis at the Ascension Charity Classic. I know you were busy last week. Nick Ragone sat in with Andy Hanselman to do the walk in the fairway this past week, talking British Open golf.
Joe, we got a bad connection here. We're going to reboot this.
All right, we will be right back. Yeah, take a break and be back with more of the Ameren, Illinois lunch show on a new feed here on Claibs Online.